Good morning. It's Monday, October 22nd. One of the stories that caught my eye this morning was a report from NOFIMA in Norway that European supermarkets are moving away from the use of fresh cod. This seemed to me important because when I was in northern Norway recently, all of the people involved with cod plants were talking about a move to fresh fish as one way of dealing with the flood of product coming in from the Barents Sea. I think the most useful way to look at the increase in cod is to compare it to what happened with the global increase in salmon production between 2011 and 2012. That jump was about 20%, I think, 25%, 20% maybe, and in any event, it crashed the price by about 40%. I think we're looking at cod also following a similar trajectory. However, there are certain structural problems with cod that I think are going to make things difficult for Norway. The structural problem is this. The salmon industry infrastructure is built up around the use of fresh fish, and by far the majority of farmed salmon sold is sold fresh. Consequently, when there was an increase in supply, it could flow into the fresh markets. Initially, of course, supermarkets and various sellers resisted in passing on the price increase, but after a few-month delay, the price really began to fall, and in fact, now the decrease in cost of salmon is fully pushed through the consumer, and consumption has risen strongly as a result. In order for cod prices to stabilize, the same thing has to happen, but there are two barriers. First is the fact that the fresh infrastructure for cod does not exist and is in the same way that a fresh infrastructure exists for salmon. And secondly, so for example, the idea of expanding fresh fish sales is going to take more work than simply adding on to existing sales channels. Secondly, the time lag between passing through a lower cost on the frozen side is going to be greater potentially than the time lag involved on a fresh side. It will be some time before sellers of cod like frozen portion producers and ready meal producers and people like that end up passing on the lower prices, partly because for those who've used cod as an ingredient or as a manufactured item or as a frozen portion item, they've also over the past year or two endured a long period of very high prices in which their margins were squeezed. The natural tendency is for them to resist, is to try to make this up and fatten their margins for a while and resist any tendency to immediately pass along the price increases. This means that the potential for consumer uptake of more cod is facing some obstacles, and we're going to see in 2013 quite a lot of price pressure on the frozen cod coming out of the Barents Sea, in my opinion. In Lexington, Mass., this is John Sackton.